Oh God, I was tempted to do an Anchorman impression there, but I'm not going to. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Money Mondays. My name is Paul Johnson. I'm the Director of Economic and Community Development here at GP and I am here with,
Belinda Ray. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at GPCOG.
and we have a special guest today, right? Yay!
We
Which I'm gonna kick it back to Belinda to do the
Sure,
introduction.
yeah, we have Matt Duff of the New England Environmental Finance Center at USM. And Matt is going to talk to us today about water resources and helping communities access them. So, Matt, we're just going to kick it straight to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'll share my screen real quick. See. Can you see my screen?
It's coming. It's still black, but it's coming. There it is. Yep, got it.
All right. Go to slideshow mode.
Looks good.
Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Belinda and Paul, so much for allowing us to be here today and share a little bit with you about our program. My name, as Belinda said, is Matt Duff. I'm a water infrastructure specialist with the New England Environmental Finance Center. I really appreciate, again, the opportunity to join Money Monday today. What I want to do this morning is just introduce you to one of our core programs at the New England Environmental Finance Center, the New England Water Infrastructure Network, or NEWIN, and walk through how we help communities move water infrastructure projects from early ideas all the way to funding and implementation, particularly through the state revolving fund programs here in Maine. So before I talk about NEWIN specifically, I want to just take a quick step back and explain who we are at the New England Environmental Finance Center, or the NEEFC. And so the NEEFC is one of EPA's university-based environmental finance centers. We're based in Portland, Maine, on the University of Southern Maine campus, but we work regionally across all 6 New England states. Our role is to help communities navigate the financial side of environmental and water infrastructure projects. And so that can include helping them understand funding programs, build up financial capacity, move complex projects forward, especially when those projects are challenging or they might end up being resource intensive. We're also a part of the National Environmental Finance Center Network, or the EFCN. And so some of you may remember from several weeks back, a representative from the EFCN presented at a Money Monday. So some of those in the audience who are regular attendees maybe remember that presentation. And so we are an organization that's a part of that network. And so the NESC is one of the regional centers that helps deliver the work on the ground here in New England. And one important thing to clarify up front is that the NESC is not a funder. We don't provide grants or loans ourselves. Instead, we provide free technical assistance to help communities, again, identify funding opportunities, prepare strong applications, and navigate the process from planning through implementation. And so one of the main ways we do that for water-related projects is through this program that we have called the New England Water Infrastructure Network, or NEWIN, which I will talk about right now. So building off of that, what I want to do a bit more specifically is talk about NEWIN, again, the New England Water Infrastructure Network. NEWIN is a regional technical assistance program that's housed within the NEESC, and it's focused on helping communities move water infrastructure projects forward. That includes drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, and non-point source pollution projects. One of the things that makes NEWIN unique is that it truly is a network. We don't do this work alone. We partner closely with a network or a group of organizations that each bring a different strength, different niche set of skills to the table. And so we have a network of 4 partners that include organizations like Moonshot Missions, Quantified Ventures, RCAP Solutions, the University of New Hampshire Stormwater Center, and the Cooperative Development Institute, or CDI. And so together we're able to support communities across a really wide range of needs, from early project scoping and community engagement to funding strategy, financial analysis, stormwater planning, and operator-focused technical support. And so this partnership-based model really allows us to meet communities where they are currently at. And some communities might need help clarifying a project idea, so that really early stage work. Others need assistance navigating funding programs like the State Revolving Fund. Others need more specialized technical or financial support. And so NEWIN helps coordinate those pieces so communities aren't left trying to stitch everything together on their own. And again, to be clear, NEWIN, like the NESC overall, is not a funding source in and of itself. We don't provide grants or loans. Instead, we provide free hands-on technical assistance help communities identify the funding opportunities out there, help them prepare strong funding applications, and help them move their projects forward. And so our goal is really to reduce barriers, build up local capacity, and keep water infrastructure projects from stalling out. So whether a community is just getting started or already deep in that process, NEWIN is there to support. And so a little bit more specifically about the services that we offer. So I'm just going to give a quick snapshot of what NEWIN's technical assistance can look like in practice. So we organize our support into five key service areas, and communities can engage with us in just one of these areas or across several, depending on what it is that they need. So the first is community engagement and partnerships. This includes outreach, engagement and communications, partnership development, education for boards, regionalization discussions. A lot of projects can stall out because the right people aren't aligned early, and so we can help by building and keep that communication moving in the right direction. We can assist with planning and assessment. This is where we support project identification and prioritization, asset management, maybe condition assessment. We can also help with resilience assessments and planning, succession planning, environmental reviews. This is often that groundwork that makes a project fundable and easier to implement. And then there's project development. And so we help communities identify pre-development funding. We can help review preliminary engineering reports or PERs, advance readiness to proceed milestones. The goal is really to move from a concept into something that's ready for a funding pathway. Fourth area is funding and financial management. And so this can include identifying funding options, financial assessments, user rate analysis, revenue and expense projections, income surveying. And that, again, one of our strengths is that funding application support. And so this is where we help communities really understand what's realistic, what's affordable, and how do you put together as strong of an application as you can. And then finally, we're here to offer implementation support. So things like managing project schedules and budgets, compliance support, funding requisitions, grant loan reporting. Even after funding is secured, there's still a lot of steps that's involved where communities benefit from extra capacity to just help keep projects moving forward. And so that's really the overall picture of how NEWIN can sort of plug in wherever a community needs to build support from that early planning stage all the way through to that implementation. And so you've heard me mention how we like to support communities accessing the state revolving fund in Maine, both the drinking water and clean water side. And so this slide just gets a little bit more specific about who's eligible for Maine's two SRF programs, both the clean water state revolving fund and the drinking water state revolving fund, and also the types of projects that each of these types of funds can possibly support. And so starting with the drinking water SRF, eligible applicants are generally community public water systems that can include municipal systems, water districts, other publicly or nonprofit owned systems that provide drinking water year round. On the project side, the DWSRF funding can support things like source development and protection, treatment upgrades, storage tanks, and distribution system improvements, such as replacing aging or undersized water mains. You can also fund projects to address water quality and public health issues that can include PFAS or other emerging contaminants, as well as projects needed for regulatory compliance. And then the clean water SRF covers a broader range of project types and applicants. Eligible entities can include municipalities, sewer and utility districts, and other public entities that are responsible for managing wastewater or stormwater or non-point source pollution. And so clean water funds can support wastewater treatment plant upgrades or replacements, collection system improvements, combined sewer overflow or infiltration and inflow reduction. They can fund stormwater infrastructure, and that can include green and natural infrastructure, as well as non-point source pollution reduction projects like erosion control or runoff management, watershed-based improvements. And so in addition to construction, both programs can offer support planning and design work. That could be things such as facility plans, preliminary engineering, and other project development activities, depending on the funding category. And so across both of these funds, assistance is typically provided as low interest loans, and many projects, especially those serving small or disadvantaged communities, may also be eligible for principal forgiveness. And so that's where the loan dollars serve more as grant than they do just straight up loans. And so the key takeaway is that the SRF programs can support, again, a wide range of water infrastructure needs, but the exact eligibility and funding pathway depends on the type of project and which fund it falls under. And so this slide just shows a pretty simplified view of the how the two SRF programs in Maine move throughout the year. And so the details vary, but there are a few key distinctions that are important to understand. So for drinking water, things tend to start a little bit earlier. Solicitations and applications usually don't happen until late summer or early fall. Uh, the draft IUP comes out in the winter, and decisions are largely finalized in the spring. And so loan offers then go up fairly quickly, and projects move into loan execution and construction over the spring and summer. And on the clean water side, things run on a slightly later schedule. Applications are typically due in the spring. The draft IUP is released in early summer, and the final IUP is adopted later in the summer. And so one key difference is the clean water projects also have a formal loan commitment deadline with the Maine Municipal Bond Bank, or MMBB, in the following fiscal year. And the big takeaway, though, is that the SRF work happens all throughout the year. So different stages of things that are going on, the work is going on all throughout the year. And even if a community isn't ready to apply, maybe right now, there's almost always something productive that can be done to prepare for that next cycle. And so that's where NEWIN fits in. We can support communities at any of these stages, whether it be early planning, application prep, navigating timelines, or moving projects forward after they make that priority list. And so just to wrap up, I hope this gave a pretty helpful overview of what NEWIN is and how it fits within the NESC and the broader Environmental Finance Center network, and how communities in Maine can use programs like the state revolving funds to move water projects forward. The main message I want to just leave you with is that it's never too early to start planning for SRF funding. There are always steps happening throughout the year, and that early preparation can make a big difference in how competitive and successful your project ends up being. And so NEWIN is here to help at any stage, whether a community is just starting to think about a project, getting ready for an application, or trying to navigate steps after funding is awarded. Our technical assistance is free of cost, and we tailor our support based on each community's needs. So if you or a community you work with could benefit from our support at NEWIN, you can submit a request through the link on this slide or reach out to us directly at our contact information. So thank you again, Belinda and Paul and the GPCog team for hosting us on today's Money Monday, and thank you all for joining.
Thank you so much, Matt. That was really informative. I think it's so great that you can jump in at any stage. So if someone has already maybe even selected a funding source and they just are having trouble with the application, they can reach out to you. And also if
Yeah,
they're at the beginning and they aren't quite sure what they need to do, they can reach out to you, and you have people that can help them assess their problem and get them going. Yeah, that's
yeah,
wonderful.
absolutely. Yeah, and between us and our network, we like to
Hmm.
never say no to a community in terms of if they come to us and they have a problem, or if they are at a certain stage of their project. If we aren't able to provide direct assistance, we have such a wide network of partners that we may know someone that can come in and help them. So always feel free to reach out to us and see if there's anything we can do to help.
Fantastic. Well, we will be forwarding these slides as we always do. And if anyone has questions, you can contact Laura or Matt or Paul or me, and we'll be happy to send you in the right direction. So thanks again, and perfect timing. Perfect timing. We are right at 9:15.
Awesome.
We love that. So I think I will say thank you from Money Mondays. Have a great week, everybody. Anyone else want to say anything before I? Great, we're out. We're out of here. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.